Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. If you can, just say what's up to your boy. Thank you all for being here for another episode of Circle Talk. We are talking mental health. This is our third version of it, too. And it has been a great conversation, a conversation that has been needed to uh, be talked about a long, long time ago. But I'm glad that we are taking the time today to continue the conversation and digging deep and help each other as we all go through this idea of what mental health is, what mental illness is, and what happens when it get past the illness stage where it's psychological and a mental warfare. So real quick, just want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors. Got to do this real quick every time we go live. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to iShotcha.com. Thank you so much for continuing to support me and everything that I do. Also, Icon ENT. Thank you so much for continuing to be a part of the movement and continue to work with me as I work with you. And last but not least, the Chai movement. Thank you so much for continuing to support. If you guys don't know anything about these particular entities, all of them are doing amazing things in our community. And they are people that you want to support. So please look them up and support whatever it is that they're doing. If I'm a part of it, then you know it's good for you. So definitely support my peoples and they'll support you back. So let's go ahead and bring our guest in. We got a couple guests today, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them in right now so we're not keeping them waiting. All right. First, we got Miss Carmen in the building. And we got, can I see you? Are you there? Can you see Adrian?
No.
I can see. What's weird? Give me 1 second.
No.
Refresh. Let's see if we can get you on.
Yeah, I don't know what's that's all about.
Go out and then come back in.
I got you. Give me 1 second.
Yep. While we waiting for Adrian, what I wanted to do, Miss Carmen,
Yes.
and also for Adrian as well. I had a question that was given to me. It's been a busy morning. I've been having conversations with people that are going through it heavy and often. And so I had a question that was given to me. I'm not going to put this person's name out there, but I did say that I would put this question out there for people to respond to because she's in need of some advice and hopefully we can give it to her. What's up, Adrian? How you doing today, brother?
Hello, everybody. Hi. Hey, Carmen.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good.
All right. So really quick, like I was saying to her, Adrian, I got a friend that sent me some information. We've been talking pretty much all morning about some of the things that she's going through. And so I told her that I would go ahead and put her story in the comments so that we can kind of all touch on it. Before we touch on it, though, Adrian, just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be a part of this conversation today.
My personal experience has been an interesting one over the course of my years. Over probably the last 5 years, I've came out as gay, and so being a young Black man and also being in the LGBT community, that adds an extra layer to the complexity of mental health, in my opinion. I've dealt with depression kind of on and off before, and recently just kind of discovered what anxiety is because I dealt with it for the first time a couple years ago back in 2020. And so it's been a journey, just understanding that you have to live with this. It's not just going to go away.
Absolutely.
Like it's more of just being comfortable with who you are, accepting those things, and allowing yourself to just grow as a person with that mental illness you have. And that's kind of why I want to be on here, because I've also lost some friends who have also dealt with mental health, and they were ones who didn't you never think that they were one of those people who dealt with any type of mental illness because they were so out there. They were in the community. They were smiling all the time, happy. But those are the ones you have to be the most concerned about because they hide it the best.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so that's why I wanted to be on here and wanted to at least help in any way that I can or be a part of the conversation.
Well, I'll be first to just say I appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story with us. Obviously, we have been talking about this because it's been in all of our lives in different forms and different shapes. And we're here to kind of work together and try and figure out, the angles that work in all of our situations, including yours. So I'm glad that you're here for this, and we are welcoming you with open arms. Hey, we boys, so we good. We good either way. You know what I'm saying? So, we all good. Carmen, anything you want to say?
I was just sitting here thinking, like yesterday, there was a question about education.
Mm-hmm.
How can we educate? We are educating by telling our stories.
Absolutely.
That's education right there. Like I said, education for us to try to tell you, you should do this or you should do that. Just listen to our stories.
Absolutely.
I agree. You're right. Absolutely.
All right, so I have this question real quick. We're just gonna kind of dissect through it really, really quick, and then we'll get back into mental illness. But I'll go ahead and put it up there so you guys can kind of read through it. I'll read through it as y'all read through it. It says, "I'm struggling in my own happiness and what I want in life and relationships. I had a very vivid dream about where I wanted to be at this point in my life and in my marriage. I'm nowhere near what I need, want, and deserve. The final message in my dream was to stop settling and to make myself happy. It was so vivid. I woke up sobbing. Now, if just conflicted and confused and kind of broken. It's been a rough few days." So let me give you a little kind of direction on this individual. I've known this individual for 30 years. We went to high school together, and she's pretty much dated this person since high school. And everybody knows them. They can't go anywhere without anybody knowing because they're one of them played high school football, basketball. He was a jock, definitely a well-known person. And then she was always the life of the party, always smiling, always energetic. Just two beautiful people that ended up in a great relationship. But they're at a point right now where they can't find each other's happy spot anymore. How can we assist them, or at least give them some advice, give her some advice on how to maintain their happiness? Not that, I mean, she's basically at a point where she wants to be done with the relationship, but they've been together so long. They have all these kids, and they have created this lifestyle for so long, but he's no longer giving her the things that she needs, and she's talking to him about the things that she needs, but he's not responding with helping her. And so they're just kind of in a lost place right now. What kind of advice would you guys have for someone going through this?
Adrian?
It's a really good question.
You're talking to the young cat.
But I was like, she's looking over towards me.
Yes.
It's really hard to say because speaking in terms of my experience just with trying to convey something to someone who may not necessarily want to do anything about it or may want to be willing to meet halfway. It's kind of hard to expect anything other than what they're doing at that time. Everything has to be taken day by day. If you try to push yourself too far out from where you are in your circumstance, I feel like sometimes it'll only make it worse. And so at the end of the day, it's about your happiness. And if this person truly loves you and truly wants to be with you and wants to make things work, then they're going to make things work. You know, my mom and my grandma used to always tell me, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You know, and you can't force people to do things. You know, all you can do is be in control of yourself. And if that means that you have done everything that you possibly can to make things work, given the circumstances of it being such a long relationship, then, you know, you're going to have to do what you need to do to move forward.
Absolutely. Carmen?
Wow. I'm in the same boat. And what life is teaching me is take expectations out the equation. Expectations, in my experiences, have always led to disappointments. And I'm in the process of learning how to truly communicate. Okay.
Yeah.
And not only verbally, but my body language. I'm learning. In my experiences, conversations definitely need to be had because there's more than, you know, there's the topic, then there's several different subtopics.
Absolutely.
And I would just say that make sure that there's still that respect there. Because if there's still respect there, you definitely have a definite chance. If boundaries are being crossed, either way, it's a no-go. And then the expectations come back into play.
So I'll just give you guys a little bit of what when she sent this to me, what I responded with. I just wanted to know, what is your focus? What is your focal point of what are you missing the most? I mean, obviously, when you guys were in your teens, you guys was living it up, you know, enjoying each other. Obviously, your 20s, same thing. You started having kids. Now you have kids added to the equation, and you guys got married. Now all of a sudden you have a marriage that is everything is about the family. And now you're in your 40s now, and you have these grown kids, these mid kids, these young kids. You got all these expenses. You got a house, you got cars. Everything is in y'all name. So it's not just you and him anymore. What is it that you're missing in y'all busy days? Because both of you guys have jobs too now. What is it that you guys are truly missing when it comes to that relationship? Start with there. Is he not giving you an inkling of love, or is he trying to love you within the realms of his busy schedule and his kids and his everything else that's going on in you guys' life? You got kids that are in all kinds of sports and all this and that. So you guys are tied. You got a really thin amount of time to be with each other, just together. What is it that you're missing the most? And is there something that you can do to create it? If he's so busy off doing his thing, because you know, men miss the signs all the time. We miss the signs all the time. Is there something that he is missing? Is there something that you can do for yourself to gain that? If it's about self-love, then how can you create your own self-love? And I asked her, I was like, do you guys just need to separate and get your own houses? Is that what
that's why I was saying, like, there's the topic, and then there's like so many different subtopics.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she was like, we should just be roommates. I was like, no.
That's not even
roommates. I mean, because
you just asking for more problems. You asking for more problems at this point.
You're opening up a whole can because you guys have 20, 30 something years together. You guys are roommates. And then he's going to go out and date all these other people. You're going to go out and see maybe one person, maybe two, maybe not see anybody. And then he's going to be bringing these people to the house. And you never know. Like,
it's not going to work.
It's going to
because the feelings are still there. The love is still there.
You're talking about the kids are there too.
Yeah.
How is that going to look with the kids?
All of it.
Yeah.
And so you just got to really
a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and now you're dealing with a new dynamic on top of that. You know,
absolutely. If you guys truly are not in love anymore, then obviously you guys shouldn't be together. But if there's even an inkling, a little piece of love,
communication.
I think what I've realized just by my experience and watching others is that in this day and age, people are ready to give up on relationships too easily.
Right.
And nobody's wanting to put in that real work to make it work. And, you know, it's not, nobody said when you said I do that it was going to be easy. You know, I said till death do us part, you know, in sickness and health. You have to really be willing to put in that work because sometimes it's going to turn into a 70-30 type of situation where, you know, one of the people in the relationship may be going through more than the other person might be going through. So sometimes that other person has to help lift that other person up so you guys can be equal again. You know, so it's a process, you know. It ain't easy. It's almost the same thing as mental health. It's not, it just ain't easy.
No, it's not. It's, to me, I mean, obviously we talked for a long while. We've been talking all morning. That's why I'm kind of like, kind of half put together and stuff. Cause I was, you know, I just really wanted to have a moment with her and just share. Like, I know you guys definitely love each other. 10 years ago, I sold him a car when I was a car salesman. So I know y'all love each other still. I mean, it's still there. You just have to work. You got to find.
And it might just be that they might just need that space.
Yeah.
You know, you're constantly together. You have a family. You don't have no me time. He don't have no he time. And, you know, it's the kids, the bills, the work, and you're doing the same thing. It's monotonous.
Yeah.
You know, take some time apart, you know, get yourself together, do what you got to do, bring your family back together.
Yeah. True. That's true.
And see, in my time, like that's what we did. You know what I mean? I'm 53. So back in the day, you know, family stayed together regardless. Father, granddaddy, you know, did what he wanted to do. Mama was still there taking care of the family and him. While he went out, did what he did, but he brought the money home. You know, that's what I'm used to. This is a new world for me.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely know exactly what you're talking about because, you know, I tell a lot about my story and I won't get into detail, but, you know, my mom and dad have been together, longer than I've been alive. And, you know, I'm 45, and I've seen some hell. And, you know, keeping it 100, I've seen some hell, you know. But they separated for a while, you know, separated for a few years. And then my mom was like, I'm going to be with your dad.
There you go. Right. Bring your family back together. Yes.
They need it.
So,
right. They need it.
Sometimes it's just a break in the action. You know, you just need a break to regroup and realize how much you care and truly want that person in your life. So when you guys do get back together, that spark, it ignites and you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boom, bam, boom.
Right.
All right. Good deal. Good stuff. So let's get into this whole mental health versus mental illness story. Me and obviously Carmen have talked a lot about it. I know, Adrian, you don't have a ton of time. You have to get back to work here real soon. So let us know, when did your mental illness finally become something that you knew you had to really focus on? Because I think everyone in the world has some form of mental illness. It might be really minor, it might be major, but I think everybody goes through it at some point in their life.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think it's a well-known fact. We hide it a lot of the times.
Yeah. And it's not healthy.
Or in denial. In
denial.
Ooh,
In
yeah.
denial.
Yep. I like I said, for me, it's been a interesting road, but it's been a wonderful one nonetheless, because I've learned a lot about myself through all of it, and I've had to break down a lot of those barriers where I didn't want to admit certain things in my life, but it was like, get your life together, get it together, and you can lie to other people, but don't lie to yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is
And
that even possible?
you'd be surprised,
I
but
call it denial, but okay.
there's different terms for it, I guess, however anybody wants to prioritize it. But you're right, in a way, it's still the same thing. Denial, lying to yourself, it's the same thing. It really is. But for me, like, it was having that person, and it goes back to when you guys did part 2, having that person who was there to just say it's okay, and it is gonna be okay. Just be you, be who you are, be your authentic self, and let the rest come later. Because no matter what, you're gonna have to deal with it at some point in your life. And so I had that person that helped me like 7-8 years ago, and said it's okay, and we had that discussion and talked for hours. And throughout that, something blossomed in me that said, you know what, you're right. Like, there's something going on here. Let me recognize it. Let me work on that for me, not for anybody else, but for myself. And that allowed me to come out as who I am. That was one step in my process to help make me a better person and to deal with my mental health that I was dealing with. And then 2 years ago, I didn't really know what an anxiety attack was, or anxiety panic attack, until I was, sitting in my garage, and, I was smoking at the time, and I was high. So I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, it felt like somebody punched me in my chest, right where my heart was. And it happened so fast that I got up, and nobody really knew what was happening. Everybody's doing their thing. And I walk out to, my driveway, and I just start pacing in circles because I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having a heart attack. My arms started numbing, like my heart rate was going fast, like I'm having palpitations, like all sorts of different things. And so the first thing I did was go into my room and crawl in a ball. And I just sat there and cried because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I've been there.
What was going on? And so that was the start. And then after that, I thought maybe it was just one-off thing. And so after maybe 2 false trips to the ER, that was where it was a turning point for me. It was like, you need to get it together, or you need to figure it out. And at that point, I spent the next 1.5 years trying to figure out what my tics are, what's causing this. And if there's just no reason, how can I do what I can to know the signs before it happens, before it gets too bad, where it gets out of control, And so,
can I ask you a question? Have you ever had any type of therapy?
I'm actually working on getting finding a therapist. But unfortunately, with my insurance, they make it very difficult to try to find like
Have
a
you ever attended any therapy sessions?
No,
Okay.
I haven't. I mean, a lot of it's been more of just like talking to other people who have dealt with it. Also just research of my own, just taking time to find other ways to work on myself. I found this really great series on Netflix called the Self-Help Guide to, or I believe it's the Headspace Guide to Meditation. And it's about 8 episodes, and each episode touches on a different aspect of meditation and how it can help you in your everyday life. And it actually helped a lot.
Excuse me. I ask because I admire you, because in my day it was me, my therapist, and my psychiatrist. And the fact that you haven't really went to any therapy or had any therapy, and you had people around you to help you figure out who you were, that amazes me. You know what I mean? I didn't have that, so I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Of course.
I went to, I had my therapist. I've been in therapy for over close to 35 years, and that's all I had, my psychiatrist and my medication, and it's like, just to hear your story, research that you've done, the people that you've talked to, the inside work that you've done. It's, I admire that, because even when people do realize they have a mental illness, it's kind of like they go into denial, and they continue just going about their daily lives and not understanding what's really going on with them, and that's why when, we tell our stories, it does help. It really does help, because everybody got a story.
Yeah,
we do. And you never know who it's going to touch, really.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. And, hopefully mine touches other people. But, when it happened to me, I immediately recognized something was wrong, but there was that denial for a little bit. But then, I started doing things just for myself. Like I stopped smoking cigarettes. It's been 2.5 years since I've smoked cigarettes. It's been 2.5 years since I smoked weed. Like, I started working on my health, making sure that it wasn't like kind of doing process of elimination. Like, hey, is there anything that has to do with my health that's maybe contributing to this? And figuring out, okay, it is just this right now. And let me now start working on finding somebody to talk to on a regular basis who's going to be able to help me compartmentalize all of these emotions and things that I'm feeling like when I start having those symptoms of an anxiety or panic attack, because, sometimes it just happens for no reason. People literally, people who haven't gone through it will be like, well, what is it? What's causing it? And I'm like, well, nothing. Like, there's nothing that's going on with me that specifically is making me trigger these anxiety attacks. Sometimes, my mind is fine.
Right.
Sometimes I'm okay. But the anxiety just kicks in just like that. And,
I just had an epiphany.
Okay.
Just listening to your story and realizing my story and a few other stories I've heard, it's about feelings.
Yeah.
It's
It's
about
always about feelings. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it plays a very big part, and I feel like it does.
I mean
hmm.
yeah.
Don't
It's
pay me no
always
attention.
Hmm.
I just
so
look. My brain works 20, and this is another thing. My brain, even when I'm supposed to be asleep, my brain's constantly working, and I don't know whether that has to do with my mental illness or my twin. So my brain is constantly going, constantly. And it was always described to me as like, because my son, he suffers from ADHD. And his teacher described him as a file box with, the index cards in it. You got the one that's, neat, closed, everything. Then you got the file box over here where the index cards is all over the place.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've
You
been
know,
there, done that. Yes, definitely.
Well,
speaking of you, actually, real quick, speaking of you talking about like the epiphany you had about feelings, somebody just mentioned something in the chat about feelings, but it it's funny because feelings, especially with like being in like the Black community,
Mhm.
for us, at least my experience growing up, you didn't have nobody to. I didn't know who to go to talk about those feelings because most of the time you had to keep them to yourself.
yeah.
And the thing is the funny thing about feelings is they can start to compress until they explode.
Mhm.
And once they explode, sometimes a product of that could be
Mhm.
some of the mental health things that we go through now. You know, the anxiety, the
That's deep.
PTSD,
Yeah.
all those different things, because anything can be a ticking time bomb, really.
Yes. Yeah.
If you allow it to fester long enough. It's just like when you don't say how you feel with somebody, you guys get in an argument. It could be something so small,
Something
and then
small.
you come back to it a
Yes.
later.
Yes.
Now it's a whole big ordeal.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting. You guys are uh, hitting on everything that I wanted to discuss, feelings. So real quick, I'm gonna just throw it back because we missed the question. And this probably pertains to what we were talking about earlier, but I just want to make sure we don't miss anybody's questions. April had said something about what's the thought when one really tries and the other tries for a couple weeks and then stops? If y'all want to answer it, that's fine. I can answer it. I got an answer already lined up for you. If you
Go ahead, David.
Go ahead, David.
I would just say patience is a virtue. I mean, not everybody works at your time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been with this person as long as you've been with them, you already know how to operate. This shouldn't be new to you. I mean, you should know this is how he is. I mean, you should expect it to be a little bit after you. Women and men are two different people. Women are
One
flowers, men
is
are dogs and basketballs. I mean, so
yes.
I would say if you already know he's going to be at least 2 weeks out from anything that you say, give him a 3 weeks. Why not? You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't respond after 3 weeks, you mention it to him again, and you change your language. You go from nice and friendly to abrupt and brash, so he gets it. If he does not get it, then he does not get it. Keep it pushing, but don't. I mean, you ask him, and it takes him 2 weeks to respond to it. Okay, did he respond? Yes or no? If he responded, then he's still there. If he doesn't respond and he kicks it to the curb, then you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say is if he responded, then he's still there. If he's not responding and he's just brushing it off, like, oh yeah, whatever she has to say, then you got a problem. You got to take it to the next level, and come hard, because women are kind of nice and they may hint to things that are going on inside of them, but they don't always come on and just say, "Hey, I need some loving right now. I need you to say,
you know what? No. That I have to agree to disagree with you on that.
All right, let's go. Let's get it.
I have to because look, when a sister needs, look, I just had this conversation the other day.
Okay.
And I was looked at, ooh, you foul? No, I'm not. I'm letting you know what I need. I'm letting you know what I want.
Right.
Okay.
Well, don't get fat, as they say.
So I like, look. Okay, David.
It sounds like we're saying the same thing, though.
Are we?
I think maybe.
I'm saying from a woman's point of view, don't be ashamed to ask for what for what you want.
Okay, so you mean just come out and say it instead of,
That's it. That's it. Don't hint to it. Don't beat around the bush. Look,
Well, I'm saying the exact same thing. I'm just saying women do that a lot of times. Women, these are just I'm just saying from my experience. Women will, want a man to take them out to dinner or spice up the bedroom, whatever the case may be. But they won't actually come out and say it. They'll just kind of hint to it by throwing little key points to what they're trying to say. I'm just come out and say it. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want, to say that. Say that then. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we was.
That's all I'm saying.
We was.
I mean, so my answer is telephone, pick it up.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
So y'all got my answer for it. If it takes him a couple weeks to respond, but he does respond, then hey, that's your man. That's your man. You guys been together long enough. You should know he takes a little bit longer than most. If he's just not responding and the person that you used to be with isn't the same person you're with now, then you got to figure out. You got to go from there. You got to take it to the next level. So, what do y'all want to say to it?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean,
that's really
trying.
You only give us a certain point. Did he respond after the 2 weeks, or did he still not respond? You said the other tries for a couple weeks and then stops. Like, stops doing what?
Yeah.
It's very
responded. What exactly did he say? Like,
right, exactly. There's more information that's needed in order for us to come up with the proper answer for that question, because it's kind of a little vague. But I would definitely not give up on him if he's actually communicating with you. That he sees that something isn't right and he wants to work on it. If he's responding, then he's still in the now. He's still there with you. If he's not responding and he's to doing other things all the time, anytime you mention anything that pertains to you guys as a couple, then there's a problem. You got to work on that. Good. We got that one.
I like that.
All right. So we got a couple people that have some comments. Let me go ahead and see what journaling could be a great tool to track your triggers and what has helped. Obviously, yes, we were talking about that. Journaling is a huge thing for me. I love talking. I love sharing. I a couple of days ago, I wrote a poem online, and it was Carmen. You've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it too, Adrian, but I was going through a situation where I was feeling really dark, in a dark moment, and instead of staying in the moment, I wrote a poem, to kind of get myself my feelings out, so that people knew, like, yes, I may be on here all the time and be all bubbly and smiling, but I go through it just like everybody else. You just have to understand what it is that you're going through at that moment and deal with it before it deals with you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's also a holding yourself accountable.
Absolutely, for sure.
Holding yourself accountable for your feelings.
Absolutely.
Definitely is really important. It is a good thing to do. So what I just told you is definitely the product of that for me.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's too much.
So what's that?
Journaling, like for me, I know it's good. I know it's therapeutic. I know, but for me, my mind won't allow me to sit down and make the time to write out my thoughts.
Carmen, I know what you do. I don't even I know what you do, and I could be wrong, but I think the one thing that works best for you is music and dancing. When things ain't right, you throw on your favorite song, and you just go there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would, because me, I went to school for counseling and all that stuff. So I'm on it.
I know, like
I'm on it all the time. I'm on it. So I think
everybody has a different
music, and
everybody has different ways. You know what I mean? I think like journaling is one facet of like helping yourself to kind of take all this out.
But I want to, though. I want to.
You start doing like an audio book for yourself, like audio recordings of maybe versus an actual write down of journaling.
Oh, that is awesome. Yes.
Download the recorder app, bro.
I'm telling you, get you one of those little recorders, because that's what I used to do when I used to work. Anytime I wanted to write a song and I came up with these lyrics, I'd have my little record about this little, and just press record and just put the words on the record.
And I actually believe that they have some on Amazon that you can do that are like what he said, but it actually will allow you to upload them to like your.
But you don't even need a recorder.
Oh, your phone. Yeah.
No, they actually have a record that too. They have a recorder app that you can download, and it'll let you make your own folders. You can put names to them and be like, this was for this.
See, I definitely need to do something, because my brain. And Shay, she said adult coloring books are life. I have them I have 2 apps on my phone. Yeah. And they're just on my phone. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, David, today is like,
oh man. I wanted to say something to Shay about these adult coloring books. I don't know. I went to this party, y'all, and I just gotta say this, and then I'll leave it alone.
You know what, please?
Wait, was it an adult coloring book party? Don't say.
Because I want. Oh man, me and Shantae had to have a conversation about that. Yes.
I went to this adult party where you had to buy a gift from an adult place, like Castle Love.
Oh,
yes. Yeah.
So when you said adult coloring books,
okay, all right.
These books at Castle
party.
Adult coloring books. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me and Shantae had to have a conversation about that.
I'm sorry. I'm crying. I'm sorry.
That was a setup. That was a setup.
I'm telling you guys, comedy, humor
always. You know what? You know what, David? That is just so true, because I find for me that right there is what really makes me, that gets me up outside of myself.
Yeah.
That's why doing the podcast, it's like it gets me up outside of myself. It gets me out of my thoughts. She said, definitely not what I'm.
Right.
But like for me, I get a chance to make people laugh. I get a chance to, like explore my other thoughts outside of my constant thoughts, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing the podcast really helps. That helps me.
Yeah. I think Adrian likes to sing.
Okay.
What gave you that hint? Yes. I just don't like to. I don't like to do anything above karaoke. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, David, people are like, well, you're a great singer. You have so many things going on beyond. And it's like, no, I don't think you're really understanding why I do this.
Right.
I do it because I go with my best friend. I meet really good people such as yourself and others who are like-minded, great energy, and I go and I sing, and when I'm on stage singing, it's like any bit of anxiety that I had or anything else that I have going on, it's just like it's gone. And then and you can hear it in somebody's voice when they're singing, because I'm putting my feelings into the song, in a way to just kind of like, even from angry, I'm still putting that out there through my song. So now when I walk away from the stage, I feel totally different. I feel great. I feel wonderful. Like I'm back to me. You know what I mean? So that's that.
I think that was it's always for me as well been one of the biggest ways for me to deal with any anxiety, any PTSD, because I suffer from that as well. I just never really mentioned it, but absolutely. My dad was in the military. When he came back, he was crazy and abusive and, just all of that. And I had to find a method to prevent myself from doing something stupid. And so stage was always my way to release all of those feelings. Exactly what you said. Release all that pain and frustration and hurt and confusion. Get up on stage, and I feel like I'm on top of the world, and can't nobody reach me down. Yes. So I'm right there with you when it comes to music and singing, and so absolutely. Great conversation, you guys. Let's go. You guys that are out there, if you guys have any questions for either one of us, please drop them in the comments. We got about 9 minutes left, and then we're going to get off. And if you guys want to continue this conversation and move into a part 4, we can do that. It can't be tomorrow, though, because I work. But we can schedule something for maybe Thursday or Friday. If anybody is down for Thursday or Friday. But I had a couple things that I wanted to read. Anybody got something I want to say while I'm looking them up? Huh?
So, Yeti's claims is
Friday. We have something we have to do on Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, there is something on Friday. There's something on Friday that we're doing.
You know what? See you later. Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
My bad. All right. So let me just read this to you guys real quick, and just tell me what you guys.
You can get off.
We got like 8 minutes.
Okay, I'll just stay the 8 minutes. Fine. They can wait. There we go.
Okay, sometimes everything hits you all at once. You lose a relationship, change jobs, old friends go, and new ones come. It's up one day and down the next. You have it all together on Monday, and by Thursday you don't have a clue. Life is one big wave, and all we can do is flow, grow, and adapt. How's that?
That says it. That
That,
says it all.
that's right there. I mean, it pretty much encapsulates all of it because
That says it
really, I
all.
mean, you have to ride that wave because
Yes, you have no
not
choice.
it'll take you.
It's
It'll overtake you. You're gonna drown.
it's a part of who you are. You know, your mental health, your mental illness is a part of who you are.
Yep.
And you have to learn, no matter if you want to or not, you have to learn, be adaptable. You have to adapt to it. You have to learn how to live with it and, hold yourself accountable and take care of yourself.
Completely agree. Yep.
Absolutely. So I got one more. It's kind of similar. I'll comment on it, and then what we'll do is we can close up shop here. It seems like everybody's kind of chilling. Nobody's really asking any questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them. We got like 6 minutes, and then we're gonna roll out. But life comes at us in waves. We can't predict or control those waves, but we can learn to surf.
Yeah, you got no other choice, or you gonna drown.
Exactly. Goes back to you going around. You want to be pumped full of water, then I mean you gotta learn to surf.
Learn how to surf. Hell, for that matter, you better learn how to swim.
Right.
You gonna drown.
Yeah.
Y'all know I don't know how to swim, so
backstroke. Use your body as a floating device.
Yeah,
I just
got
don't
options.
go in the water. That's what I do.
Don't get pushed in the water by accident.
Nobody better not push me in the water. They're coming with me. I'll be floating on them.
We're using terminology, but mental health is just exactly as we're discussing. Mental health is just that, and your mental illnesses are just that. And sometimes, like David, you said you'll drown. No, you won't. You have your floating devices, which are the people that support you. Okay,
Absolutely.
but there's people who don't have that, and that's what we want to be. Sophisticated and Loud has a specific chat just for mental health. If you want to come in, whatever, discuss, no judgment. That's specifically for that, and it's ran by my two moderators, just specifically that chat. So someone is there on a, and yeah.
DeAndre said it's a question more of a. It's not a question, more of a statement. That I see that everyone says communication is key, but don't forget comprehending as well. Okay.
I see what you mean. I think I see what he means. Like more so, and just working in the customer service industry for years, I think sometimes there's a difference between listening and hearing. Anybody can listen, you know what I mean? But not everybody can hear, because I can say something to you and express to you till I'm turning blue about something, and you may not hear anything that I just told you. Like you heard it, but it went out the other ear.
Right.
And sometimes being able to comprehend and understand what somebody's telling you, it can make a big difference sometimes between that communication and allowing the communication to work the way that it maybe should.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's the basic communication. That's comprehension and understanding and all that. Going to school for communication. I understand, like for me, the whole, when I talk to somebody, I just have to make sure you understand. So, you know what I mean? That's just the way, because it's, communication, then it's comprehending, and there's levels too, communication.
Just like mental health, there's levels to it.
Exactly.
Do
Exactly.
you
when
do
it comes to-
confirmations or anything, or
What's that?
just curious, like Carmen, like with the communication thing, like do you ever do like the confirmations or affirmations kind of thing, where it's like part of that comprehending, like, are you understanding?
Oh,
Kind
I don't say it like that, but
not necessarily directly like that, but
I repeat myself twice.
okay, yeah, I think that's important.
I repeat myself twice because I know, my thinking is if they don't know how, you know what I mean? Like you need to know exactly what I'm talking about, because if it's done wrong or said wrong, you know what I mean? I can't blame them because I didn't give them, you need to know exactly what I mean. Say what you mean what you say.
Yeah. They might have interpreted differently. Maybe how
Yeah,
we're experiencing it.
Exactly. So that's why I say what I say twice, and that's that.
Absolutely. And that goes for any type of conversation. You mean relationships or just talking to someone about your feelings, whatever the case may be.
Exactly. I mean, you have to, because you can't ask, somebody to understand you if they don't understand you, and you have to allow people to understand you, and if that means saying, well, look, this is what I mean, then that's what needs to be said.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, hey, you guys, we're at an hour officially. This has been a good conversation. We're going to continue. We do apologize if we did get a little off track as far as the mental health versus mental illness, and just kind of finding the difference between the two. We will talk about it again. I promise you guys, we will be back. I think we're going to do this probably every week, at least once a week. Do a mental health check every week. Moving into 2023. What I want to say to you guys is always remember to share your news. I mean, share your thoughts. Don't be afraid. Don't leave it in. When you're feeling like you're going through one of those situations where, like we were talking about earlier, having those panic attacks and those attacks are for real. I've had them. Trust me. When I feel like I can't breathe,
Yes.
reach out. Don't just go. You don't have to go through it alone. We said this to you guys, the last conversation, the first conversation, and we're going to continue to do this moving in and moving forward. We want you guys to be able to know that we are here for you. You're never alone in these situations. The reason why I wrote the poem and I shared it is because I knew I wasn't alone, and I knew people would reach out to me and I'd be able to have a conversation with someone about it. That's why I do what I do. Don't be afraid to do the same, because being in those alone spots by yourself, those are the worst times.
Alone with your thoughts.
Oh my God.
Alone, just being alone with your thoughts.
Get out of those thoughts.
Going in a black hole, when you gonna come out of that black hole.
Find a way. Play your favorite song. Go for a walk. Hit up one of your best friends. Hit up one of your old friends. Whatever you have to do, find something to change the narrative. Don't be stuck in that ugly place. You don't have to.
Yes.
Trust me. There's so many options out there for you. So thank you guys so much. Anything y'all two want to say before we get out of here?
Love y'all. Thanks, David.
Same thing. And My name is Adrian Cole on Facebook. So if you need to talk to anybody,
Yes,
I am
absolutely.
there
Oh,
at any time.
Carmen Finest Wine Williams, my inbox is always open.
There it is. Y'all know who I am. Y'all can hit me up anytime. You know, my phone number is. I'm just kidding. It's on Facebook.
No personal, huh?
You can call me anytime you want. My phone number's on Facebook as well. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you guys again real soon. I'll let you guys know when the next one will. I got to map it out, kind of figure out who we're going to have as guests. Obviously, you two are more than welcome to be invited to the next one, and we'll do it again. All right.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Bye, guys.